Let me tell you one story about something I learned. Let me tell you one story about something I learned. Yo.
Gonna hit you hard with the fast and the fury. Make your mouth drop like Jordan and Julie. Stepping on the court, dog, arm dangerous. Getting the score like Bobby De Niro. Don't approach us like no Gondoliero. Leave you looking like Eddie Norton. Straw in your word like Marvin Martian. Wanna know why? The God sent we. Cause your belly full and your mind empty. All sound alike on BET. How many naked girls do you see? Like Miss Awalad, me can't believe me eyes. Won't stop rocking till the boat capsize. In the holy water, washing off your disguise. Always go back to your dirty pig style. Damn, big, you left them hypnotized.
Soldiers dance in the middle of the night, smoking trees and chilling with wife. Fridge got food and the kids shirt tight. I got a big dog and him off at night. Soldiers dance in the middle of the night, smoking trees and chilling with wife. Fridge got food and the kids shirt tight. I got a big dog and him off at night.
Walk on line like a high wire act. Speaking my mind on
What's going on, people? My name is Rex45. You're listening to the B4evaKool podcast, and we try to give you some motorcycle updates and talk about racing. I'm a club racer. TJ's a club racer. We've had folks on that are club racing, and to bring you that aspects of it. We're also talking about MotoGP, World Superbike. I think we're pretty much talking about anything that has to do with racing and two wheels and, adrenaline. You know what it is. So, this is episode 3. Excited for it. It's been crazy in September for folks that are riding and watching if you're watching Motor America, or you're watching World Superbike or BSB, you know what it is. So we're going to jump right into it because, here in America, we're coming to the end of the season pretty much for a lot of the club racing. So, it's kind of like for folks that are competing in championships and, they're the ones that are going to be showing up. Usually folks that are not competing, they tend to, the last few rounds, they tend to take off and stuff like that. And so which is it's a different topic for another day, I would say. But, it is coming to the end of the season. So, you start to plan for next year for those that already have given up on the season, and for those that are racing right now, they're still planning for next year, but just, still racing, right? If it depends whatever club you're at, you're still trying to finish up the round and stuff like that. So, it's trying times. I remember in 2021 when I was fighting for some regional titles, it's really hectic. Because if you're ahead, well, I've always been coming from behind, so I don't know what it's like to be out front and trying to just scave people off. But if you're like 5 points, 10 points down, you're hoping that the rider doesn't show up. You're hoping that, if there's faster riders in front of you, you're hoping that, these people can be a buffer. You're also asking a lot of yourself to say, okay, I have to do something I haven't done before. If you want this, you have, it's one of these moments where you have to be the best versions of yourself. So I know what that's like in the last couple of years. Years before that, it's a long story, but I know that's like the last couple of years of trying to fight for titles and stuff like that. And for me, it was one of those moments like, okay, I need to be the best version of myself. And for a couple of rounds, for a couple of different regions, I did secure titles, but for one region, I had to work for the last round. And no matter what you plan, no matter what you think, you assume that you know what you know, but what you don't know is the beautiful part of it, because you could surprise yourself. You may want to be a couple of seconds faster or whatever, and then you surprise yourself. So that is the beautiful side of the other side of it. So I know it's like for riders that are in the top 4 and they're close in points and stuff like that, and you want to and you're trying to win a title. Whether it's a class title, whether it's a regional title, or whether it's a national title, you're trying to win. And so, if, like I said, if you're front, I don't know what that's like, but coming from behind, I have an idea. You know, I didn't win the title the year I had to push, but I came close, and the times that I put up, I was the best. I'm happy with it. You know what I mean? Because I surprised myself, and that's why I say that. It's like you never know what can happen. You know, you may think that okay, I just need to be this, that, or whatever, but you never know. You just never know. You just gotta just show up and just try to be the best race you can be. And for some people, the universe is going to open and give you what you need. For other people, you're going to pack it up for next year. You know, and for me, I didn't win the title the first year. I didn't win that regional title. I was runner up, but I was still the fastest I ever was. And that's something to build on for next season and stuff like that. So I'm not sitting here saying look at next season yet, but just be the best versions of yourself, because at the end of the day, if you give 100% and you walk off whatever track, basketball court, tennis court, whatever it is, whatever you walk off of, if you're the best version of yourself, you may not get the title, or you may get the title, but at least you can look at yourself in the mirror and go, I was the best version of myself, and I even surprised myself. So it's just kind of like, it's just more to build on for the next year. You know, so that's that. So folks that got a couple of rounds left and they're fighting, and if it's close with other riders, you know, just try to be the best version of yourself, and the rest is up to the gods, the universe, whatever. You know, so that's that. And I didn't start this show to talk about that, but it just came to me as I'm talking about it. It's more like it is the end of season. And so for, you know, folks that are looking to get into racing or looking to bump up a class, whether you started out on a 300 and you want to go to a 400, or a 400, you want to go to, you know, a lightweight or middleweight or whatever, now is a good time to start looking for used race bikes, because folks that are either building new bikes or retiring from racing, they're going to be selling their bikes. You know, and so there's a lot of bikes that's going to come on the market. I can't tell you where to look. I have ideas, but you know, just put it in your search engine and look, because now is a good time to look. I will say this: I've had a lot of bikes, but I've had 5 race bikes, and two out of the 5 bikes I bought that were already race bikes, and I built 3 race bikes. The downside of building your own bike, you spend a lot more money than buying a race bike already built. The downside of buying one of the downsides of buying a race bike is if you buy a bike from somebody who wasn't honest with you, then you're in for problems. So, you know, I would say this up front: if it sounds too good to be a deal, it's probably too good to be a deal. But outside of that, you know, whatever bike that you're looking to buy, do the research on it. Do find out what issues are with the bikes and stuff like that, and you know, join forums that, you know, whatever bike you want to get, there probably is a forum for it if you're racing, and see what people are talking about that bike and the model bike and stuff like that, and try to figure all that ahead of time. Hopefully, the person that's selling the bike is a good person and they're being upfront with you. I can't say that happens all the time. I've had, you know, I've had one good experience and one bad experience buying a bike already built. But you buy a bike as is. So, you know, it is what it is. For me, I was more looking at, it's a new bike, and I wasn't looking for things that could go wrong. I wasn't looking for leaks or whatever. I was just like, this is a bike I want. I was very excited. And this is the second bike. The first bike I bought, which was from somebody who had a really good bike, I didn't have to worry about it. All I had to do was just change the oil, put some tires on it, and pretty much go racing for a couple of years. I didn't really have to worry about that bike at all. And I sold that bike. And it was a pretty solid bike. And second, you know, and I built a race bike in between there, 2 race bikes in between there, and then I bought a bike that was a race bike. It was a Motor America bike, but it's been passed through a few people. And I was I had a lot. I was just like, okay, it's a good bike. I didn't really think that, okay, somebody would give me a bike that may have problems and stuff like that. And it wasn't major problems, but it was definitely things that were not disclosed, and there were not things I didn't ask as well. So, no matter if you're excited about moving to your first race bike or to a new to you race bike, definitely do your research. Definitely ask a lot of questions to make sure, because some guys and gals, they're really meticulous with their bikes. Some others are not as much, and you see that at tech, and you see that at the racetrack. I mean, if you go to the racetrack, you'll see it. And so it is one of those things, like, do the research. But now is a good time to buy a race bike if you're interested in getting a race bike. So that is my 2 cents on the show. I'll keep it moving. I will say this: I run around KTM. I've been racing KTM, this lightweight RC 390 for a couple of years. I thought about getting a Ninja 400 to run in that class and stuff like that, and I still stuck with the KTM. But a few days ago, Aprilia announced that they're coming out with a ultra lightweight bike. RS 457, 47 horsepower twin cylinder bike. That's gonna be that might be trouble for the Ninjas. It might be. Nobody knows because we haven't ridden it yet. But it might be trouble for the Ninjas. But I'm definitely eyeing that 457 RS. I was already thinking about getting the RS 660. Because I full disclosure, I raced the R6 from 2016 up until last year. Then last year, the year before, I switched to the KTM, and I was doing both. So for 2023, I decided just to race the KTM RC390, and I love that bike. It's a really nice bike. I enjoyed it a lot. But it is a struggle against the Ninja 400s for sure. If two same spec bikes, one KTM, one Ninja, and the same rider, the rider on the Ninja is going to be faster. I know in Motor America and in World Superbike, there's a KTM bike there, and it does very well. But from my understanding, it's a very expensive bike. So no one knows what the price of this Aprilia is going to be yet. So that's going to be, wait and see. But I think Ninja 400s might be in a little bit of trouble. I have to say. So I can't wait to hear more about the Aprilia and see when it comes in. Who knows what happened? I can't sit here and say it will be or will not be a bike for 2024. Well, it won't be a bike for 2024 for me, but maybe 2025 because, by the time these bikes get into the U.S., the race season is already going to start. So that makes it a little difficult to have it. But nonetheless, I'm looking forward to hearing more about that Aprilia, because the ultra lightweight class, the 300 class, it's a nice class to learn how to ride bikes on, and it's very competitive. So I'm excited to see that there are more manufacturers getting in that class. So shout out to Aprilia for doing that, and obviously for those Ninja riders and R3s and RCs, you already know what it is. So that's a bike to look out for. If you're a new rider or a rider who just don't want the power of the middleweight and the the super bikes and the super, you already know, you don't want that. It's a good bike to still have fun on, because I do enjoy my my RC. I do enjoy the R6 when I ride it as well. But I do enjoy the RC. So I'm looking forward to the Aprilia. So there's MotoGP. Is ridiculous. I think we're still coming off of this past weekend in Misano with all the craziness. I think the biggest crazy part is Pedrosa, finishing fourth. I think that's unbelievable for a rider who's been out of MotoGP for about 6 years and finished fourth place in both races. That's, what can we say about that? Also, that Dennis Anchu, he's moving to Akia Io KTM, and also Celestine Viete as well. And I was talking about him in the last episode, saying he has to get a ride and what he struggled with. But these last couple of rounds, I don't know if that sealed the deal. I don't know if it was already in the works. I'm looking forward to next year to seeing him on a KTM, on one of the top brands in Moto 2. In my mind at the moment, he's a favorite. I'm sorry to all the other riders out there, but he was fast on the VR46 race bike when he switched over. When the team switched, he struggled. I don't know if it's a matter of, who knows. I'm on the outside. I'm not going to sit here and give a list of what it could be because I don't know. But we know that he struggled. And the last 3 rounds, he's fairly done well. So it's nice to see him on a new team for next year and on a team that's won championships. So, and I suspect he understands that he has to go for the title. If you're running on one of these top brands, Mark VDS, or in this case KTM, you're fighting for a title. That is what it is. So excited to see that. Looking forward to 2024. Now, just to stay in MotoGP a little bit because there's still a bunch of rounds left, right? So I don't want to discount the amount of rounds that's left because there's 8 rounds left, and 3 of them are not in Europe. The last race is in Spain, so a lot can happen. Who knows? What do you think, people? Who do you think is going to come out? Do you think, as far as MotoGP, do you think Bagnaia is going to hold on to it? Do you think the Aprilia is going to shine or the KTM is going to shine? Really can't count in any of the Yamaha or the Honda riders, right? So it's really right now, I think Brad Bender is the closest and Vinales is the closest as far as different manufacturers. If not, the top 3 guys are all on Ducati. So really, how do we think the Ducatis are going to handle going into, let's see, right? Because where we're at, let me get to the right one, right? Because there's so much to talk about. Let me get to see where we are, because I believe as I'm going through this list right now, India is the next stop, right? So we got India, we got Japan, we got Indonesia, Australia, we got Thailand, we got Malaysia, we got Qatar, and then we got Valencia. What do you think? Put a comment in, send me a message, let me know. What do you think? Who's gonna? Is it gonna be? Is it Pecco's to use? I guess it is Pecco to lose, but do Jorge Martin, Bezzecchi, do they have a chance to can possibly catch? They're all on the same bike. I mean, for Bezzecchi, it's a older bike, but nonetheless, they're all pretty much on the same bike. So it'll be interesting to see these next few rounds. So I am definitely looking forward to that. I suspect you guys are and gals are as well, to get this thing done. I don't know how Aprilia or KTM can find themselves in the mix. I think they will try, but I suspect after the first round not the first round, but the round in India, we'll have a good idea. So definitely looking forward to that, and that is MotoGP at its finest. So World Superbike, a lot of movements happen there as well. They got 2 more rounds left, and then the season is over. I think that Alvaro Bautista still has a shot. I know Top Rock is fighting, but it's really those 2 are the main contenders. Jonathan Ray has a chance, but there's only 2 rounds left. There's 4, 5, 6 races left. So and the top 3 riders have been Ducati, manufacturers Ducati, Yamaha, and Kawasaki, which is very interesting. But really, Ducati's running away with it, and it's really the Yamahas and the Kawasaki's are fighting amongst themselves. So it's almost like back to back, and also to jump back into MotoGP, but really about Alvaro Bautista because he has a wild card coming up as well in MotoGP. So who knows if he's going to finish fourth in both his races on the Ducati. The boy's fast on a Ducati, and he's not afraid to. He was a MotoGP rider one time as well. So, and he's been more competitive as far as because he's in World Superbike than Pedrosa, who's a test rider. So, who knows what can happen? But that is the World Superbike and MotoGP. We got the new Aprilia coming out. We got club racing coming to an end. My name is Rex45. This is the B4evaKool podcast. Keep it locked. Shout out to all the sponsors: Motul, GoPro, Engine Ice, OGO, Smoking Rhymes, HY Clothing. My name is Rex45. Peace.